The bosses came to me, Broncos country, and they said, we want you to pick one Broncos subscriber to give a full shout out to on the next episode. So I found out a way to do this the most fair that I could. The person who spams Broncos the most gets a full screen shout out on tomorrow's episode. So do me a favor, get down in the comment section right now and spam Broncos as many times as you can. Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose, and on today's episode, we're going to go through all of the Broncos minicamp takeaways so far. Just a spoiler alert, you're going to see a lot from Zach Stevens. He was all over Broncos minicamp the last 2 days, and I greatly appreciate his reporting. It's my job to now talk about what I see and deliver it to you. Now, before we get into it, can we just take a moment to appreciate this? The Broncos have officially signed J.K. Dobbins, and how sweet it is now that we have a fully complete running back room. And he actually showed up today. Now, he was just doing some conditioning drills, but this is your first look at J.K. Dobbins in Broncos gear. And I just got to say, I can't wait to watch him and Harvey, a little thunder and lightning combo heading into the 2025 season. But let's move right into our minicamp takeaways. The first thing that I feel like should be noteworthy and should be talked about is Bo Nix's progression is completely on display. In fact, Sean Payton had gone on record multiple times the last couple of days and said the difference between where Bo was last year to where he is now is like a night and day different. He's making good decisions, he's much further along with his progressions, and it's just a different quarterback than it was his rookie year. Now, that's to be expected, right? As a rookie comes in and is trying to understand the speed and athleticism of the game, there's going to be growing pains. But now that he's a year two signal caller in Sean Payton's offense, you can clearly see the maturation of Bo Nix, not only as a physical specimen, but as a mental play caller as well. And one thing that I also thought was, something that we should note was that Bo and Courtland Sutton are as smooth as they've ever looked so far. All of the videos that I'm seeing, and that I'm sure you're seeing as well, is Bo to Courtland. Oh, look at this awesome connection they had in the end zone, up the seam, in the flat, over the middle. Every single throw, it seems like Bo and Courtland are just on the same page, and it's perfect because out of all of the wide receivers that you want to see Bo gel with the best, right now, it's Courtland Sutton. He's your number one wide receiver. I'm expecting big things from both of them going into the 2025 season. There was also a little report that I thought was pretty cool that Bo ran for a 90-yard touchdown, not threw for, ran for a 90-yard touchdown. And if you look closely right here, can you see what I'm seeing? Bo's put on some size. It looks like he's put on about 10 pounds of muscle, which, again, can't hurt you at all as long as it doesn't mess with or screw with your mechanics, which I don't think Bo has ever had a problem with. So I'm excited to see what Bo has got, not only as, like I said, an athletic specimen heading into year two, but what does he look like from the mental processing side of things? If you combine the two of those, you're looking at an MVP candidate for sure. So let me ask you this question. How many touchdown connections will Bo and Sutton have? So how many times will Bo throw to Sutton in the end zone? I'm going to say that number is 10 this year. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below and defend your answer as to why you think it's that particular number. All right, on to our second takeaway. The tight end room, far better than it was last year. I mean, you can clearly see the talent on display from Evan Engram. He's unbelievable. His receiver skills are on display as well. In fact, he was doing wide receiver drills, and his footwork was excellent. Now, we can't show you any of the videos because of copyright reasons, but I will say, when you watch Evan Engram go through the drills that the wide receivers are, his footwork not only looks quick, but it's smooth, it's fluid. He looks like he's been doing this for a multitude of years, and of course he has. So I just want to point out really quick, over the last 4 seasons, I'm not expecting a 2023 season from Evan Engram, but I'm definitely expecting somewhere in between what he did in 2022 and in 2023. Now, I realize that means, okay, he could end up having 80 receptions, so maybe that's a little high. But if you mean to tell me that Evan Engram were to have 75 receptions for 850 yards and 6 touchdowns this year, I think that's well within reason, especially because all the reports indicate that he is going to be Bo Nix's go-to second option in this offense. And before I move on from the tight ends, there's been a Caleb Lohner sighting, somebody that I was like, are we ever going to hear about this kid other than the fact that he's 6'7"? Well, yes, we actually have some sighting of Caleb Lohner. Now, it's clear from the video that I saw that Lohner has a little bit of a ways to go in terms of his technique and the technical side of things, but you cannot deny the raw athleticism that he has on display. I mean, former basketball player, a kid that played 1 season of college football. Obviously, he's got some growing to do. But from what I saw, they were using him in the red zone. And that's a good thing. Tight ends are supposed to be red zone threats. So he gets out into into his route, and he tries to make a couple of juke moves and then cuts up field again and then catches the ball into the end zone. So the athleticism, the view, the look, the eye test, it looks like it's there. But the technique needs work. That's a definite sighting for me, at least. And maybe you feel the exact same way. His athleticism was completely on display, which you love to see, but he needs to develop, and that's okay. Remember, he's a 7th-round pick, so we can just take a second to breathe. And, I don't necessarily know that he's going to end up becoming our tight end 2, at least not year 1. Evan Engram and Adam Troutman, I think, have those 2 spots locked up. Now, could Lohner slide into that tight end 3 spot if things go well and he starts progressing more? Sure. And if he really starts to pick it up, I don't think there's any reason why you can't put him at tight end 2. But as of right now, there just needs to be a little bit more development. And I think that is, something that has also been reported on. They don't want to sound rude and say, yeah, his technique isn't that great yet. But the truth is that for a kid that's barely played any sort of college football, it's obvious that, that would be something that you need to work on. Now, coming up here in just a second, we are going to say a big thank you from our friends over at Fanatics, and that's right before we get into my other big takeaways here at Broncos Minicamp. If you're looking for all of the best Denver Broncos gear, you got to do me a favor. Use this link that I've put in the comments and description of today's video and start shopping with our friends over at Fanatics today. Look, the summertime is here. This is obviously a short sleeve hoodie, so maybe on a morning where it's a little bit more brisk, you put this on, you go for a quick little jog. I can tell you right now, you're not going to get a much better deal than 40% off. And, by the way, it helps support the channel. So use this link that I've put for you in the comments and description of today's video and go to chatsports.com/Broncos hoodie to start shopping today. All right, the third takeaway is the pass rush has gone crazy. Every report that I'm reading is that not only has Sean Payton been completely hands-on with both the offense and the defense, but all of the pass rushers were getting in on the action today. Nick Bonitto went in, Jonathan Cooper went in, Zach Allen went in. I mean, it was just nuts. Now, Vance Joseph said that Nick Bonitto had a great season last year and that he's excited about the jump and the progression that he's going to make even into this year, and then reminded everybody that he wasn't even really a starter until about week 4. Now, Payton did kind of calm the waters a little bit, not to get too overly excited. He says they have to be careful on Benito's snap count. They don't want to overextend him and overwork him and risk injuring him. So one thing that they're trying to monitor right now is, yes, we realize the high motor, but we want to just maybe take a quick little step back and just ease our way into all of the full speed reps. Because remember, it is June. Not everybody needs to be going at 150% on every single play. You can just take off a couple of plays here and there. It's part of the entire experience. So the other the other pass rushers that were getting in on all of the action right now. like I mentioned, Benito, Cooper, Allen, and even Q Robinson was getting after the quarterback a little bit, which was really cool to see. Another player that we haven't seen a lot of, media coverage about, but finally gets his way into the spotlight a little bit. So Q Robinson making some plays happen here at Broncos mandatory minicamp, which I thought was really cool to see. All right. I'm going to ask you this question before we get into our final takeaway. How many sacks will the Broncos have in 2025? I'm going to say now as a team total, right? I'm going to say 60. I'm going to say 60, right on the money. I know they had 63 last year, but it is so hard to duplicate that number. So I'm going to say 60. I still think they're either first or second in the NFL in sacks. Which leads us to our final takeaway. The rookie class is shining. I was talking to one of the viewers yesterday on our live stream who said that he wasn't really convinced that this rookie class had it. And I said, I'm going to push back on that. I think this rookie class has a lot of upside to become really, really great. And Zach Stevens, I thought he said it perfectly when he was talking about a multitude of these players. And Sean Payton as well. Vance Joseph said that J.K Dobbins was a can't-miss prospect for the Broncos. Pat Bryant was talked about a little bit by Sean Payton and said he loves his size and physicality and his ability to high-point footballs and come down with the ball in contested catches. And then also R.J. Harvey, who has been doing a great job of not only running the football but catching the football as well. Sean Payton said he quite hasn't earned his Joker wings yet, but he's well on his way. And looking at the Broncos draft class in 2025, I can confidently tell you, we have got some serious studs that are going to be rolling out for us. I have such high hopes for not only J.K Dobbins and R.J. Harvey, but for Pat Bryant, Savion, and, Q Robinson as well. It's hard to talk about how good a punter is going to be because, they're only out for a handful of times in a game. And Caleb Lohner, like I said, seems to be the one that needs the most developing. But out of the guys that I mentioned, all of these players have the ability to be really, really standout players, especially Harvey and especially Barron. Now, Sean Payton, I alluded to earlier. Actually, I didn't even allude to it. I just stated it. Has been very, very hands-on with both the offense and the defense. And I thought there was this really cool quote that he had where he said, we don't have any sugar days. There's no days off. That's what he called it, a sugar day. He said tomorrow's a salt day, which meaning they're going to get after it yet again. And that's that old school mentality that you love to see from your head coach. It's not one of these new age coaches that's like, yeah, we're just going to take it easy tomorrow and, have some fun, have a bunch of, players throwing at tight ends and stuff. No. Sean Payton is all business all the time. You work hard, and then you celebrate when you win a Super Bowl. Now, if you made it to the end of today's video, do me a huge favor. Type real one down in the comment section down below. I realize some of these longer videos can be tough to sit through, but if you made it all the way to the end, type real one for me, like I said, in the comment section down below. Remember, if you haven't subscribed already, make sure that you hit it. It's completely free, and it helps out the channel. Like the video, and as always, be cool.